Bonjour, my name is Fiona Ferris and I am from howtobechic.com. I'm also the author of the new book 30 Chic Days, Practical Inspiration for a Beautiful Life. Today I'm reading an excerpt from 30 Chic Days and it is day 2, Eat Real Food. I will start. I'm not one of those people who naturally chooses the healthy whole food option. Sometimes I feel like I'm a small child. When my eye catches a junk food advertisement, I'm instantly hungry for that item. I admit I have felt like a dieting failure in the past, when I'm sticking to a healthy eating plan, yet can't seem to prevent the cravings that overcome me. I've often wondered why I make things so difficult for myself. Surely it can't be that hard to choose food, feel good about it, and be healthy. How have humans survived for so long if eating is this fraught with anxiety? It all started with the industrial food revolution and the introduction of processed foods in the 1950s. Our bodies have simply not evolved quickly enough to deal with the addition of physically addictive substances such as refined sugar, fat, salt, and wheat into our everyday foods. These products are also heavily advertised, which can fool us into thinking they are part of a normal diet. Why we can't stop eating junk food. Do you want to know why we can binge on junky foods but not on good real food? There is actually a proper medical reason why we can eat processed food until the cows come home, yet maybe 1 or 2 pieces of fruit is all we desire in a sitting. Potato chips, lollies, sweets and candy, ice cream, soft or fizzy drinks, soda pop and fast food meals as inverted commas, have virtually no nutrition, and our body needs nutrients to survive, not just calories. Our physical body has been perfected by nature over thousands of years. This miraculous creation guides us to continue eating until we reach the nutrition levels required. So we eat more junk, feel worse because we are still denying ourselves nutrients, continue getting fatter. It's not a pretty story. Compare this with real food. Real food nourishes and satisfies you. An apple quenches your thirst, fills you up. The fibre is fabulous for your innards, and it has vitamins galore. It's the same with a colourful salad made from fresh vegetables. This is another of my food criteria I've realised. Can I stop eating it? It's not like once you've had a fresh, crunchy piece of celery that you just have to have another and another and another. It's always unchic, unhealthy food which I cannot stop eating once I've started, or cannot have in the house sometimes without it calling my name. I'm talking to you, copper kettle potato chips, sea salt flavour. Become a food snob. Why don't you decide to become a food snob, where unstylish food would never pass your lips? Don't torture yourself by choosing to eat foods that you know will make you feel unhealthy. Your physical body needs you to look after her. Imagine you live in a fine yet petite Paris apartment. Would your tiny kitchen cupboards contain large colourful bags of potato chips and packets of chocolate biscuits or cookies from big name mass market brands, who, by the way, do not have your health in their interest, just their profits? No. Perhaps your ideal cupboards might have jars of staples such as pasta and rice, a few tins of tomatoes and tuna for a last-minute dinner. Your fridge would likely not have giant-sized bottles of Diet Cola, rather a bottle or 2 of sparkling mineral water and maybe a bottle of wine. How much more elegant does that sound? You could have cooking sauces such as oyster sauce for a quick Thai stir fry, a few cheeses and a small selection of fresh fruits and vegetables. Doesn't that sound far more chic? In my home, our kitchen is what I would consider medium-sized, but others might still call small. It is still bigger than my ideal French girl's Paris kitchen though, so I try to honour it by buying as little processed food as possible. My ideal shimmery mirage goal would be to have nothing in packets, just simple ingredients in jars. Make small changes to your meals. I have 2 tips which have helped me in my goal of replacing processed foods with real foods. Making this change is the real secret to successfully and permanently achieving your healthy and slim lifestyle goals. Tip number 1. Think what you can add to meals rather than take away from them. If you are told you can't have this, whether it's by someone else or by yourself, it is forever in your mind as a forbidden treat, which only increases its desirability factor. I'm sure you know that one because I do. But if you go the other route and ask yourself, what nutritious component can I add to this meal? It feels better. Over time, those higher quality additions will begin to crowd out the less nutritious components. Having 3 balanced meals per day is commonly acknowledged as the best way to eat. It's been this way for thousands of years, and I certainly function my best when I eat breakfast, lunch and dinner. Tip number 2, make tiny changes over time. Rather than give my diet the radical overhauls that have failed so spectacularly in the past, I decided to tidy up one tiny area at a time, working on a single habit that would stick before I moved on to something else. The key was not to change everything at once. That way, my taste buds became accustomed to a new way of eating. There was less chance of self-rebellion against my well-meaning plans. I inched my way into better health and a slimmer physique. Some of the small daily habits I started years ago, I still do now, so making tiny changes definitely helps with lasting change. An example of this might be your daily hot drinks like tea and coffee. If you always take, for example, 2 sugars, try decreasing every few weeks, having a little bit less each time, going 1.5 spoons, then after a few weeks going to 1 spoon, etc. Soon you'll be at no sugar and you won't even mind. In fact, if you go back to 2 sugars, it'll taste awful. I started using a smaller cup for my soy latte in the mornings too, and I also ask for a small size when I'm out. There was no need for me to have a bucket-sized coffee, no matter how much better value it seemed if I was buying it, or how much I enjoyed the taste. I also changed to buying an ice cream from the convenience store when I had one every so often. It was far worse value, but the alternative meant buying a big box of ice creams, like ice creams on a stick, from the supermarket, which meant they were available in my freezer at home every night, that's dangerous. Can you tell that one of my stumbling blocks is being thrifty? In the end, I actually saved money on both of these things because I was spending less, even though the item cost comparatively more. Plus, I was skinnier, and I was training myself into good habits. Let's start with breakfast. My first tiny change was to add a piece of fruit to my breakfast each morning. As a child, I ate fruit most days because my mum gave it to me, but as an adult, I barely ate any at all, and I knew it was healthy to have fruit in your diet because everyone knows that. Even though we don't eat fruit, we still know it's good for us. It was hard to find a good piece though, too ripe, not ripe enough. Nature is far more variable than uniformly manufactured faux foods. Further reasons were that it went off quickly, it was expensive, I thought it was boring to eat. My list of excuses carried on and on. I did know that fruit was a miracle food of antioxidants and vitamins, and that all the varying colours of the different types meant different nutritional benefits were offered. I wanted to include fruit daily, so I found an area to slot in a piece without jostling my little mind too much. I decided that no matter what I had for breakfast, and there were no rules or diets, I just continued on with my same breakfasts, I'd add a piece of fruit. One of my staple breakfasts at the time was peanut butter on wholemeal toast, so I'd have a washed and sliced apple alongside that. Another breakfast I liked if I had more time was rolled oats simmered on the stove. My favourite way to add fruit was to dice a pear and cook it with the oats. This, along with a handful of raisins and a sprinkle of cinnamon, was absolutely delicious and felt so gourmet, I didn't even need to add sugar at the table as I did with plain oats. As time went on, I found that fruit grew, from being a side to the main part of my breakfast. I now love washed, chopped, seasonal fruit with a dollop of good quality unsweetened yogurt on top and a sprinkle of raw mixed nuts. LSA, which is ground linseed, sunflower seed and almond, or a dried fruit nut seed breakfast combo, one of those things. Mostly it's just a handful of handful of raw nuts. In the summer, I'll have a breakfast bowl of watermelon, blueberries, nectarine and peach. In the winter, my chopped fruit is likely to be apple, pear and banana, or yummy mandarins, which are in season at the moment. I chop my fruit fresh each morning, or my husband does, but you could easily chop a small container the night before, so all you need to do is tip it into your bowl in the morning. If your day starts really early, you could take it to work with you in a Tupperware container, complete with yogurt and toppings. I find that this breakfast, along with my milky cafe latte, keeps me full until lunchtime. Sometimes I have my cafe latte not long after my fruit, and sometimes I have it mid-morning as a filling morning tea. Lunch. Lunch used to be a big problem area for me. I've never had any issues figuring out what to have for breakfast and dinner, but lunch stumped me. So I quizzed myself, if I was a chic French woman, what would I have for lunch? And the answer came to me, a gourmet salad, of course with a piece of baguette on the side. However, salad is still, well, it used to be, so boring to me, and I avoided raw vegetables if I could get away with it. I enjoy all kinds of cooked vegetables. Who doesn't love crunchy roast vegetables, steamed vegetables, dressed in olive oil, or crispy stir-fried vegetables, but salad, I just couldn't get excited by it. I used the same strategy for breakfast though, starting small. I decided I could eat whatever I wanted for lunch, but I would serve a side salad with it. I started purchasing basic salad ingredients such as lettuce, tomato, cucumber, celery and carrots, and apart from the tomatoes, keep them in the fridge at work. Doing this might not be suitable where you work, so you might want to prepare a small salad the night before and take it with you. There are also many salad places around these days, and if you don't mind the cost, go for it. But I am a thrifty girl, and I couldn't pay as much for a prepared salad for one day, especially when I'm doing it every day, that the same amount that I paid for one salad would keep me in salad ingredients for a week from my greengrocer. So I started my add salad to lunch plan and endeavoured to have it made up before I started my lunch, because if I'd finished my bowl of soup, leftover pizza or cheese baguette and still had to wash and chop salad vegetables, well, I wouldn't have had a salad that day. And it actually looked quite chic on our lunch table at work, with my lunch main and a side salad next to it. I also found that my lunch main didn't need to be quite so big when I had a salad too, so that was a double win. I love creamy dressings, so I made sure to keep my favourite dressings stocked in the fridge. Alternatively, I also have a salad sprayer, which is I got it from a kitchen store, and it's filled with equal quantities of balsamic vinegar and extra virgin olive oil. So I just shake that up and mist it over the salad, and it's really, really yummy, and it gives a nice clean taste, and you're not using too much, doesn't make it all soggy if you mist it over, so I totally recommend finding a salad sprayer. This was a new mindset for me as well, with having nice creamy or my misting salad dressings, because it goes along with the moderation theme. My old way of thinking was, okay, so I'm having a salad because I want to get skinny, and creamy dressings have calories, so I won't have creamy dressing, and I would have a plain salad that was so dull that I would give up eating it, having it with my lunch as soon as I was off my diet, and that's not a very long-term healthy way to go. So by using salads that I like, I actually look forward to my dressings, look forward to my salad. As with lunch, and as time went on, the salad overtook lunch, and now it is my lunch. I don't even have the baguette slice anymore. I have a big bowl of delicious salad ingredients and protein on top, of course. I have often cold roast chicken or quartered hard-boiled eggs, plus treats such as any of these things, not always all of them. A sprinkle of grated cheese is really yummy, fresh avocado, yum, or diced leftover roast vegetables. You wouldn't believe how delicious small cubes of roast pumpkin, onion, carrots and kumara, which is sweet potato, when you have them cold on top of your salad, so it's worth doing a few extras with your dinner and chopping them up and putting them in the fridge.